Hey guys, welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to talking about the PHP database connection. The database is one of the important of any programming language. To deal with a dynamic project and the data management components, and we need to have the database for that. The PHP supports the various kinds of databases connections with it. MySQL is one of the most widely used relational database management systems, and it is mostly used with PHP as well. Considering the term database connection in the PHP MySQL itself have the various ways to make the connection in the applications to play with the database operations. Like you can see here, we have the dynamic website. And here we have some kinds of servers where these files are kept. Okay. If the user is request to the server, so server will give the front end of the website to the user. If user retrieves some of the data from this server through this website, so here this data is kept into the SQL, where this website search this data with the help of SQL into the server and then responds back to the user. Hope so you understand now. So how to connect the PHP database? Before making a connections, we should have to deal like firstly localhost name, database username, and the database password. We will not move to the database name right here. We will check about the database in next upcoming lectures. So here we have the three types of connections what we create with. First one is you can create with MySQL core, or you can create with the MySQL procedural language. Okay, then you have to create with MySQL object oriented way, and at last you have to create your connection with MySQL PDO. So PDO is work with the various databases. Usually we consider this as the best approach out of these three. This one is considered as an object-oriented way of communicating with the MySQL database. And the moment we are creating, it's give us the object to deal with MySQL related. So what is MySQLi instead of MySQL? So MySQLi is the extension what is improved version of MySQL. Okay, where this MySQL is secured from the MySQL injections. Like this is MySQL and I means injection right here. Okay, which is saved from injections. Here we just turn to the examples of MySQL procedural connection that you can see how we created. Here I have to write PHP and then close this PHP tag right here. Here firstly I have to create a variable, and variable here is db host, and db host which is equal to, here I just write this is local host, and my connection here is 8080. Hope so your connection is not 8080, just because of I am using two different types of database, that's why I am just defining the port number right here. Hope so you understand now. Okay, now after that I just close this right here. So what is the local host? As you can see on the browser right here, where the local host and 8080 is my connection name right here, then PHP MyAdmin. So PHP MyAdmin means that here you can create your databases as well, you can write your queries as well. So this is just a PHP MyAdmin for the XAMPP as well. Hope so you understand now. And you can find all of your database connections right here. When we are creating the database connection, so we are creating at first with the help of MySQL's command, but I will show you that how you can easily connect your database as well with the help of this XAMPP server. So just leave it right here, and here you can see that I have to write db username. So db username means that if you are if your database have no username, so by default the username of your database have root. If you are working with like cPanel section on if your website is live, so then you need to have this username, but you write on the cPanel as well. I will tell you about that in next upcoming lectures as well, that how you can upload your website to the cPanel and how you create your connections and how you create your database. So this is a separate topic. But if your website is live, so this database name is very important. Then here I have no DB password right here. So you can see here I have to write that DB, this is the password. So at this stage I have no password here for the XAMPP server because I didn't keep any of the password. Now here I'm just creating one another connections, and the connection here is my variable. And now here you can see that I have to write my connections to this database. So here you can see that this is MySQLi and the connection right here. Now here I have to write this is DB host. Then I am just calling my DB username, and then here I have to call my DB password. Okay, and then just close this code right here. Here you can see that this is just a connection right here. What I am just creating the connections to this database. Okay, you can see here these all are the variables, and I am just creating the connection of that. Now after that, here you can see that I have to check the connection if created or not. Here you can see that I just write not, and then here I have to write not connections. And when I just run this code, so here you can see that firstly I have to write die, and the die here is, you may say that this is, here I am just writing that connection is failed. Okay, and then here I have to concatenate MySQLi library underscore connect underscore error right here. Okay, and I just close this code right here, and I just close this code right here. Hope so you understand now. Or here firstly I have to write this into the brackets because this is a die function, and close this code right here. Okay, now here you can see that. Now after that, here you can see I have to write echo, and the echo here is I said that connection for the database is created, and I just close this code right here. When I just run this code, so you can see here, and hope so we did a little mistake about that, and yes, okay, here you can see that this is connect. Okay, now I'm just running this code again. So here you will see that, and here you can see that I have to remove this as well. For the initial stage, just leave it right here. Okay, now here when I just run this code again, so you can see here the connections for the database is successfully created right here. So this is how we create our SQL connections with the help of procedural language. Now here you will see that I just go to create one another connections right here where PHP, and here I have to write this, or I have to comment this as, and now here I have to close this comment. Okay, now here you will see that. Now here you can see that I'm just creating with the object oriented programming model, and here we have same connections name right here. Then after that, here you can also create, this is the also same connections right here. Okay, now here you can see that here you will write that there is a new SQL connection with the help of new keyword. So here you can create an object to it, and then MySQL injection underscore connect. Okay, so here you can simply remove this connect right here. Okay, and then here you can see that, and I just copy this again and paste it right here. Now if connection, and that connection will and this connection will check the connect error. Okay, so this is the function of the connect error right here. Now that will die the connection, and you have to remove this connections from here, and here I will simply concatenate connection, and the connection here is connect underscore error right here. Okay, now here you can see that how you can create this with the object oriented MySQL injections. Okay, and here you have to write that, run this code. So here you can see that the connection is failed just because of we already created the connections of that as well. Okay, here you can see that because our connection is not created right here, and if I just remove this not sign from that, so here you can see that I have to run this. So you can see here the connections for database is successfully created right here. Just because of I just write a not sign here, because that I just said that the connection is already created, so it's simply not sign here. So not connection, which is connect right here. If you write this, so simply you have to create your connections right here. Now at the last, we just turn to our next example right here, which is the PHP PDO. Okay, here you can see that, and I just close this code right here. Okay, now you can see that, and here I just remove this as well and this as well. Okay, now here you can see that. Here I have to write a new PHP connection, and firstly I have to close my comments right here. Now here you can see that I just close this. So this is a new PHP connection here where I'm just creating right here, and here you will see that there is the new PHP connection. And here after this you can see that firstly I have to copy these all things right here where I am just already created as the variable. You can see here where the localhost root and the password is same. Now on the place of this connection right here, I just use exception handling. So firstly the exception will try. So here you can see that firstly I have to write connections, and the connection which is equal to here I just write new here is PDO. Okay, now after that here you can see that I have to write MySQL, and then here the firstly that will create the host which is equal to here I just get the host name which is db host right here. Okay, then here you have to write that like here I have to write this is username which is db, and db here is the username, and then here I have to write that this is db and the password right here. Okay, now I just close this code right here. Now one thing is missing right here, which is a db name, means the database name right here. We will learn about that in next upcoming lectures when we are just creating the database. So here you can see that I have to write connection, and the connection here which is the set attribute, and here I have to write that this is PDO, and then here I just write ATTR underscore, here I just write that this is error, and the error here is the mode, and then here I just write PDO. Then here you can see that I have to write error mode, and error mode underscore, here I have to write exception. Okay, you can see that this is just an error mode underscore exceptions right here, and I just close this code right here. Now here you can see that I have to write echo, and the echo here is database connection created. Okay, now here it's a ratio sign. Now I just close this code right here. Now firstly I have to try this exceptions, and now here I'm just catching this exception right here where I have to write PDO and then exceptions, and the exception variable here is e. Now here I have to write echo, and the echo here is I have to write connection is failed if the connection is not created. Now here I have to write that this is the variable e, and e will get the message as well. Okay, now here you can see that my connections for that is created right here, and this is the echo right here. So this is the echo. So before running that, here you can see that I have to write this as the quotations mark, and then close this, remove this, and here you can see that after that I have to write the comma right here. Okay, when I just save this, and now here I am just running this code again right here. So you can see here my database is created successfully. The question here is that what database should I use, MySQLi or PDO? These both are the object-oriented way of the database connection using PHP, and we can consider this as the present and the future way of the database connections. But choosing out of these two is all about what kinds of you need to have that your project. If there is a MySQL database only, then you can go with MySQLi. But the moment adds the possibility of the databases is changed. For example, like from MySQL to MySQL server or any other vendor, the PDO will be the best options. Like if you want to move to MySQL to MySQL server, so you have to move to the PDO. Okay, this is the best options for you. These both approaches supports the prepared statement while writing the queries to do database operations. Hope so you understand now that how we can create the different kinds of connection with a MySQL database. Hope so you understand now. If you find any of the problem regarding to this lecture, please let me know, and thanks for watching.